Right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this great session that we'll be having today. My name is Tebello Mokhema. I am the ambassador for Female Wave of Change in South Africa. I've been involved with Female Wave of Change since 2017, and it's been a pleasure to see this movement grow in leaps and bounds. As we start with the session, there's just a couple of house rules that I would like to share with you. Just give me a moment. There we are. Can you see the slide? Great. So as we go through the session today, a couple of things that I'd like you to do is if you can mute your microphone if you are not going to be speaking. During the session, should there be any comments or questions that you would like to ask, you're more than welcome to type them in the chat box, and we will look into them as we continue with the session. When we get through to a question and answer moment, there is an option for you to be able to raise the hand on top. At the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to raise the hand, and then we can see that somebody wants to talk, and we'll give you an opportunity to talk. And lastly, I'd like to invite you to stay with us until the end. Kindly note that this session is scheduled until 8:30, which will be 9:30 Nairobi time. I'm also just wanting to highlight to you that during the session, we will have a poll, which one of our speakers will help us facilitate. So if you've never been exposed to it, there is a website called Slido. You can just click on slido.com, and we will be using the hashtag FWoC. As you know, we'd like to be able to engage with you on a couple of matters when we get to that point. During the course of the session, we have a couple of speakers that will be addressing us. And the reason why we came up with this session is that in South Africa, tomorrow is Youth Day. And we will be celebrating the struggles and the hard work of the youth of 1976, who were fighting against the use of Afrikaans as a language of instruction for all the teachings in school. And on that particular day, there were protests. And if you know the history of South Africa, a couple of young people who were participating in that protest unfortunately lost their lives. But also in Female Wave of Change, this is the month of storytelling. So we thought, Youth Month in our country, storytelling, isn't this then a great opportunity to have young people sharing their stories with us, especially young people who have been involved in the Female Wave of Change? Some of you may be new here and you may be wondering, what is Female Wave of Change and who are these people that call themselves Female Wave of Change? This is an organization, we are a global movement. And the reason why we exist is to be able to unite women who aim to change the world into a better place. We are women and men from all walks of life who take responsibility for our own future and the future of the next generation and of the world. So when we get together in Female Wave of Change, ours is to really be able to provide people that come and join us a safe place where they can be their authentic selves, be economically empowered, and grow as change makers who are helping us to shape the world. So the young people that we have with us here today are young people who took up the baton to say that, yes, I want to be part of this movement that is saying we want to make this a better world and a different world, so that the future generation can be able to look back and say, because of those who were involved in Female Wave of Change, we can see a better world that we have today. As you would have seen in the adverts that went out about the session, we have 4 young people who are members and active members. Yes, let's be very clear. They are very active members of Female Wave of Change in the various countries across the African continent. Today, we will be engaging and we'll be hearing from Patrick Sigei. Patrick is our Wavemaker in Kenya, Nairobi, working very close with our Ambassador Regina Mutero, that's based in Nairobi. Will also be addressed by the Ambassador of Female Wave of Change, a very young, energetic lady from Namibia, Thekla Mutero. Will also be addressed or engaging with Mmahlapa Mkhandawire, who is a Wavemaker here in South Africa, and Trish Hakata, who's also a Wavemaker from Zimbabwe. And today, really, for me, or for us as Female Wave of Change, was really an opportunity to hear from these young people. I mean, we've been having all these wonderful long sessions where, you know, as the older people, including me, yes, I'm older, as the older people have been engaging. And we just thought, you know what, we need to start hearing from these young people. And I mean, there's also been a lot that's been happening across the world, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's people fighting against, you know, gender-based violence, whether it's ensuring that people are able to survive, you know, through COVID. So this is a lot that's taking place. And we'd really also like to hear from them. How are they as young people surviving, you know, through this? Because for a lot of young people who are around us and around the world, this is the first time that they're dealing with so much happening all at once, you know? They would have heard stories of all the pandemics and tragedies that took place in the past, but all of them to all be happening at once. And at a time when we are all connected in the world. I mean, just in this session alone, we're having participants, you know, from Europe and from Africa, and I'm sure later on we'll also be joined by participants from other continents of the world. So in as much as we're dealing with the challenges, but we're also dealing with them on a connected level. So without any further delays, I'd like to give the opportunity to Patrick, who I call the rose amongst the thorns, to tell us who is Patrick and why did Patrick join the Women in Female Wave of Change? Patrick, over to you.
Thank you very much, Tibbs. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. My name is Patrick Sigei from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm a Wavemaker with Female Wave of Change. And I joined Female Wave of Change because I believe in the feminine energy that transforms the society. Being a gentleman, I call myself a he for she. I try to be more powerful in training. I've participated in training. I've worked for a man-women network, and also I've also worked in peace institutions in Kenya, where we do conduct capacity building, and mostly I do get my inspiration from the 1325 UN resolution, using women in change making and in peace and security, because they're the change makers. They have the motherly love, because you'll get a mother encouraging a young person or swaying a young person to do what is right, but you won't get a young person getting to sway an older person. So you find that encouraging mothers to be the change makers is good, and also using that wave making, using waves, the natural waves, they go flow. So by getting one person, the waves go gathering speed. Yes.
So how have you found your participation or involvement with these mothers and these wave makers? Have they made any difference in your life? Or are they being motherly and, you know? continuing to engage with you in a motherly manner?
Yes, they have been very encouraging, especially Regina. Regina hasn't joined yet. She has been very encouraging to me. I have worked with her since I joined the organization she works for. We've been working together, and even after that, we've worked in our organization and also joined FWoC together. And it has been a very good experience with her.
Okay. Your country is known for producing runners. Do you run?
Yes, I do run.
How many kilometers can you go at a go at one time?
Without stopping.
Is
Beyond 10 kilometers.
beyond 10. Good. I hope you'll encourage us as well to be able to take up running as a form of exercise. Great.
Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
Patrick, thank you so much. It's nice. We'll hear more from you during the course of the session, but it's nice to meet you. And I hope after this, you'll also be able to encourage more men and young men to also come and join this movement. Trish, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am ready.
Welcome, Trish, our newest Wavemaker, who's based in, where are you? I know you're in Zimbabwe, but exactly where in Zimbabwe?
I am in Harare.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Trish. Who are you? What do you do? Why did you join Female Wave of Change, and so on and so forth?
Well, I am a founder of an organization called Go Getter Movement. So we advance financial inclusion for economically marginalized women by creating a platform that gives them access to business leadership training, funding, personal development management tools, and also markets for their products. And I am a very passionate farmer. So I taught myself to farm a few years ago. So whilst farming, I realized that I had a lot of leftover produce. Then I decided to start a kitchen, like a mobile kitchen without any experience. So I just got other people to come together and I had the idea. Then I started my mobile kitchen. So right now I'm farming and I'm also running a mobile kitchen. And I am also area director for Toastmasters International. I love serving in the community and I love helping individuals to also, achieve their goals, especially their educational goals. So I'm part of Toastmasters. I can see Melanie as well. She's in the room. She's from Toastmasters. And I am a global shaper. It's an initiative of the World Economic Forum. So I'm part of the Global Shapers community and I serve there as well. And I serve under the inclusion and equity pillar. So I come up with projects that help to push those agendas that are afforded by WIF. Then also I am a member of the Youth Caucus of the African Women Leaders Initiative in Zimbabwe. So I am part of the youth branch for the UN program. So I love serving, I love giving back to my community. And my biggest passion is to create platforms and opportunities for younger people than I am, opportunities that I never had myself. Because I feel if I had known of certain opportunities when I was younger, I would have been in I can't say better place, but I would have been way, way, way better than I am right now. So I try to come up with initiatives that allow me to do that.
Whew, okay. So much. Where do you get the time to relax and to be a young person with so many projects that you're involved in?
Well, with everything that I'm involved in, there's a lot of fun to it as well. I know in Toastmasters, we say if it's not fun, it's not Toastmasters. And with all the other initiatives, I make sure I have a lot of fun because I also acknowledge that I'm still young. I'm 27. So I try as much as I can to unwind. And because I'm doing things that I enjoy, it doesn't seem like work. So when I'm in the community, when I'm engaging, it doesn't feel like work. So I like to do it all the time. So it doesn't bother me at all.
Wow. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a young farmer here with us and a produce maker and a Toastmaster, leader and. Wow, welcome. Trish, it's lovely to meet you. And I'm hoping that based on what you've told us about yourself, we'll be able to encourage other young people to be involved, in the various projects. I don't know if we want them to be involved in as many projects as you are involved in, but let's see. Welcome. Thanks, Trish. We'll hear from you a bit later.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome to this session. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Who's Mmahlapa? I see the kids are not around, so Mommy must have told them, Mom is busy tonight. Yes, tell us a little bit more about yourself, Mmahlapa.
Well, as you mentioned, I am a mommy to two absolutely handsome boys, if I must say so myself. And I'm also a businesswoman. I actually am in the water purification and beverage bottling industry. So I love to create things that you want to spend your money on. I'm also a wife to an equally handsome Malawian man, if I must say so as well. That's where the Mkhandawire comes from. So I have an African footprint all over Africa, but I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa. And I actually want to say thank you so much for this invite. It's such an honor to be sharing this platform with such powerful, inspiring people, Patrick and Thekla as well. And you guys are just absolutely, absolutely incredible. So yeah, I'm excited for tonight.
Great, but there's something else you haven't told us about yourself, because you are all over the place guiding people about business. I mean, how does a young person like yourself get to be doing that work?
Well, when Trish was talking now, she just resonated so much with me. And I actually think we're soul sisters, even though we're meeting today for the first time. But, I have a passion project called It's My Business. And this is pretty much my contribution to the activism in Africa in terms of getting the economic inclusion of young Africans. And so this is a platform where I'm saying everybody should have an opportunity who is interested in business to get the skills and the information they need to participate as a business person. And so I share what I've learned and what I'm still learning with other, young entrepreneurs who are excited to participate in the African market. And yeah, that's what It's My Business really is about. It's a YouTube channel on Mmahlapa TV. So do subscribe for those who don't know about it yet. But yeah, that's pretty much what it's about.
Okay. So I'm going to call back to all of you. So what did you study, Mmahlapa?
Well, I actually am qualified in commercial law. So I studied BCom law and LLB. So I'm a commercial lawyer by profession. Okay. But I think by purpose, I'm a teacher, a motivator, and really an entrepreneur. So yeah.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you, and looking forward to hearing more from you. Back to you, Trish. What did you study?
I studied political science, and I did also a postgrad in project management.
Okay, so today we're really being addressed by people that, have really got the brains, and they've used those brains, to develop themselves. Patrick, what did you study?
Yes, Tibbs. I studied international relations and diplomacy with information technology, and also a postgraduate in project management.
Wow. Yes. Guys, I'm starting to feel like I need to go back to school to be able to just keep up with the three speakers that we have today. But that's great. And I think that's one of the things, as we know, as Africans, wherever we grew up, the whole issue around ensuring that you get the education, whether you're going to end up utilizing the qualifications that you've learned, or whether that knowledge is just going to be latent knowledge that you have. But it's important to be able to ensure that you get the education that you need. Unfortunately, Thekla has not joined us as yet. We have been trying to get hold of her. I just hope that it's nothing serious that has happened, but hopefully she'll be able to join us during the course of the session. So back to you, leaders. I'm also just noting, guys, you've impressed people so much, Youth of today, Tanya says, youth of today are leaders of today and tomorrow. We're supporting you. So inspiring. Mmahlapa's Hetty is here because of you, because of It's My Business that you run. Odi is very proud of the youth, so enterprising. Millennials are doing well. I mean, really, I wasn't expecting this. I am totally, thoroughly impressed by yourselves. So question that I have for all of you, and why I went to the comments, is that I wanted to also give an opportunity that for the audience that's joining us, if you have any questions that you want to ask, please just type it in the chat box, and then if it's to a specific speaker or to all of them, indicate to who that is going to. Guys, we are now living in the time of COVID, right? And all of us, this is like, where did this come from? How did we find ourselves in this situation? I'd like to hear from you. How has COVID impacted you? Trish, if we could start with you. How has it impacted you? How has it impacted all of this work and projects, that you are involved in? And more importantly, what is it that you are doing to be able to get through this period?
To be honest, for me, it was very hard. Like the first the first month of the lockdown here, actually, it was very hard for me because we went from, having income to actually having nothing, no customers. Our clients went on lockdown as well. So everything just stopped. And it's very hard when you have people who depend on you. You have employees who want, their salaries, and you just don't have any way out because this pandemic didn't choose who to hit. It just hit everyone. So it was very hard for me. And I remember the first few weeks I would sleep in my bed. I wouldn't want to talk to anyone. I was just stressed out. And then one day I just woke up. I just started listening to some, inspiring messages, motivationals on YouTube, started to listen more, and I just decided to just wake up and start doing something. But it's very hard. It was very hard. And also in Zimbabwe, our economy started going down. So if you had money in the bank, you'd know that after a few weeks, it would be worth almost nothing. So I had to think of projects to do. So right now I am in Harare. I'm in Harare where I stay. So I had to utilize my backyard because I knew the money I had in the bank would soon be amounting to nothing. So I had to come up with little projects to just ensure that I keep the value of my money after I sell the stuff that I would have grown. And also with my initiative, the Go-Getter movement, we're used to meeting as ladies, having corporate leaders and women leading everywhere, just speaking to us. And I just decided to bring it online. So we had a series on how we can best brand ourselves and our businesses during and post lockdown. So that was really something that I looked forward to, and that got me back in my groove. But yeah, it's been really hard, but well, we just have to keep pushing, I guess.
Great. So I'm interested in how you've taken the work in terms of what you do as go-getters and you've brought it online. And I want to invite you to share that with us in the Female Wave of Change Africa, Facebook page, and also on the Female Wave of Change platforms. Because one of the things as well that we see is that there's so much that people are doing, but it's not being shared. So to all of you and everybody that's, on the session, I really want to invite you that the pages of Female Wave of Change that you're following, please use them as another platform for you to be able to share with people what you're doing, because it's when we read about what you're doing that I sit and I think, oh, okay, things are not so bad. If she can use her backyard to still be able to produce what she was doing in the farm and still be able to sell and make money, it means I can maybe use a space in my house or also my backyard where I'm at, you know, to be able to do the same. So when you said that you came online, so I'm assuming that you were au fait with the likes of Zoom and Google meetings. Okay, because I was speaking to somebody else and they were saying to me, you know, as a young person, they had no clue about all of these things. And now every time, you know, something happens, somebody says, oh, we'll meet it on Zoom. And they're like, what is that? In fact, there was a joke where somebody, you know, was invited to come to a Zoom meeting, and they said to the person that was inviting them, sorry, I don't have money to come to the meeting. And, you know, it took us a while to help them understand you don't have to go anywhere. But those are some of the realities that we're dealing with. It's great to hear that, you know, you found a way to get out of it, but also to acknowledge that there was a time where it was tough for you. And for you, Mmahlapa, how has COVID affected you?
I think COVID for me was a sobering time. I think especially as a businesswoman, you know, we go into business and we create plans and goals and visions for the year. And we never think that something would totally, you know, destabilize everything that we're doing. And so for me, it was on a personal level, it was a very sobering moment in terms of the fact that I had to start looking at myself and saying, really, what is it that I want? Why am I doing what it is that I'm doing? You know, what am I working towards? Being more in tune with my purpose. And I'm so fortunate that my mentor is here, Mom Yvonne, who is checking on me all the way. But, you know, as everything was, you know, falling apart and people are like screaming and, you know, about getting paid and, you know, people are we need to pay accounts and people need to get paid. And there's so many things that are demanding from you, especially when you're a leader in a business. It really had to make me go inside internally and say, okay, what could we have done? You know, what have we missed? How do you lead from a place of being a human and understanding everybody's experiences, but at the same time as a leader where you're saying that, hey, we have to push through, you know, we have to find a way, we have to you know, suck it up to some degree and, you know, and find, you know, solutions to this situation as best as possible. So I think for me, COVID has played that type of a role, you know, in my life right now. And I think in the life of the people that I'm working with.
Very interesting that you've had to reflect and be able to say to people, you know what, we still have to continue. How have you managed to convince older people that feel we've been around, we've seen worse situations and we don't want to be going through this, and we are being told to stay at home or being told, you know, to social distance, and here comes Mmahlapa, and Mmahlapa is like, hey, the business still has to run and we still have to continue. And I'm saying that because I'm assuming that there must be people in your organization that are older than you that you work with.
Definitely. I think one of the biggest things is that in life, we spend so much time doing and working in our businesses and working in the things that we do. We're consumed by daily tasks all the time that we don't take time to work on our businesses. You know, we don't take time to work on ourselves from an aspect of understanding and reconnecting with our why and our strategies and our visions and our objectives. And so for me, I think what it's kind of challenged us to do is to really start tapping into a lot of those things and starting to answer a lot of the questions that we've overlooked for the longest time. And especially with the older people, you know,
Mmahlapa? Okay, the connection seems to have be having a challenge. Patrick, if I could maybe ask the same question to you around how COVID and all the regulations are impacting on you, or yes, are impacting on you.
Great. COVID entirely has impacted greatly on me. One is that we had to be forced to work out from home, since all the regulations were that stay home. Fortunately enough, is that where I work, it's a customer service representative. As a customer service representative, we can do it from anywhere. So it was just like a plus for us, because we would do it from anywhere. So we just worked remotely in an easy manner. It's a fintech company, which we normally assist small-scale farmers. I had Trish is a farmer. Yes, we do assist small-scale farmers as well to maximize their produce using technology. And so it has impacted greatly, because at least we've also been, it has instilled this more discipline for us as an individual, because you have to wake up very early in the morning and at least get to take the time that you're supposed to be in the office. At least it's saving some time as well, because in Nairobi it's just traffic.
Yes.
So at least that's something I'm happy about.
Right.
And also in my personal life is that I had wished to go for Easter holidays up country, but the lockdown, the government restrictions,
Okay.
we are forced to sit here and just talk via phone.
Yeah. And how are your friends handling it? I mean, you know, young people have always had this opportunity to spend time together. And I still remember when you are young, the one thing that you never want to do is to be in the house. You want to be out on the streets and want to be having fun. So your friends, how are they handling it? Are you guys meeting? Are you talking regularly? What's happening?
Yes, we have scheduled Sunday afternoon meetings on Zoom as well.
Okay.
We do quite a lot of stuff on Zoom from 3 to 6, 3 hours of just talking, sharing experiences, sharing good things to do that can help us make money. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Every Sunday we do have meetings.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Patrick. I am going to give members that are participating an opportunity to ask 1 or 2 questions to any of our speakers. But before we do that, I'd like to share this video of Thekla, who would have joined us as our ambassador from Namibia. So if you could just bear with us, with me, I'm just going to share this video and we hear from Thekla.
No retreated, no surrender. Namibia, my country, my motherland. Born out of tribulation, but the son of the soil did not wave back. We suffered from rudeness, misunderstanding, and sleepless night, but we never surrendered, just to overcome the stumbling block. All we wanted was our bright future, fulfillment of our dream, and to see flower on our feet. Namibia, my country, my motherland, were treated unfair and badly. We were forced to be failure due to our skin color, which was not our fault. We were beaten to death. We lost cattle, homestead, and many valuable assets that belong to us, but we never surrender. It's just like a garden. If it's not cultivated, cannot be harvested. Out of difficulties, always grows downward. Namibia, my country, my motherland. We were having a strong hope and belief to fight forwardingly that one day the storm will be over, Namibia to be granted independence and everlasting peace. Today we are celebrating independence. We are free and proud to be free Namibian. And we give thanks to those brave women and men who fought and died in the war and make the country greater. Namibia, my country, my motherland.
So that is Thekla, our ambassador from Namibia, and very, very passionate, individual. And she would have shared her story. Again, somebody that's all over the place, involved in so many things, and we'll get to hear it another time. So at this moment, I'd like to check if there's anyone who's got a burning question for any of our speakers. Mmahlapa is back online. We still have Patrick and we still have Trish. Anyone that would like to comment or would like to ask a question, please unmute yourself, and I'll speak on to any of our speakers. Guys, you can't be that quiet.
I have questions. I just didn't want to jump in first,
but
I'm writing it down. So just, I think I managed. Thank you. I'm so inspired. I didn't want to miss it. Mmahlapa knows that I was already at 6, so during my clients on it. I'm always inspired by 20+, and I'm happy that also Valeria is here. When we were talking about what's going on in Slovenia and what to do for the youth, and I asked exactly what Tebello was asking you, what do you do for fun, right? Where do you, being young? And she said, what do you mean? We all work. There's so much stuff to do. We need to change the world. And I said, okay, let's do it. So the question, what do you think we should stop doing? Now think as during the COVID, think that we could be bold, we could be connected, we could be loving, caring, great, creative, but we might still not be, or soon not be doing it anymore. What would you suggest that we stop doing? And what would be the impact if we stop doing that, globally or in your community?
I think any of you,
any of you. So.
Yeah, any of you can respond to that.
Well, I'll be happy to respond to that, Tanya. I think one of the things that maybe we could look at stop doing during this time of COVID is embracing so many distractions in our lives. I think that a lot of us spend a lot of time pouring our time and our energy into things that don't necessarily feed who we truly are at our core, just because we want to keep up with people's expectations or to create perceptions, to feed perceptions of ourselves. And I think that's what actually drew me to the female wave of change, was that, authentic feminine leadership is such a core value with the female wave of change. And I think that in our journey of authenticity, if we could just embrace, not giving more attention to things that are not necessarily feeding us in any type of way.
Any comments from the others?
I can comment. I feel that, during this time, I've seen a lot of memes. There's a lot of pressure for people to start doing something, learn something, or, find something else to do, or just keep yourself busy. But I feel like at this time, it's a time to actually stop everything and try to discover who you really are, like Mmahlapa just said, and I could resonate with that, because there are times when your mental health is actually the best thing that you can do for yourself, taking care of that. So I feel like during this time where things are at a standstill, it's a time where people need to stop trying to have everything together and take care of their mental health, get to know who they are, try to rediscover where they want to go and how they're going to go there without so much pressure and noise from the world. So yeah, that's what I think is something that people should stop doing right now.
Okay, so you guys are a different breed of young people, and I'm slowly getting to appreciate that. In our time when we were young, we would have all fought and been so upset about it. But I love the fact that everybody's saying, hey, hold on, look back. And maybe I suppose it's because of the impact of social media that it's had, and accessibility to the web that it's had for so many people, that, you know, now it's an opportunity to say, hold on, just take some time and breathe. Patrick, what do you think? What should we be doing during this time?
I really agree with Trish. As young people, we do normally hide behind memes. We laugh the whole day about memes, laugh. Recently, our president acknowledged them. Our president acknowledged them because of, anyway, they are funny, but again, we do hide behind them. And I have a friend also. She's a good memer. But when we talk together, she goes through a lot of things right now. And she recently lost her job. And so, but if you go through her social media platform, you'll be laughing the whole time. But real thing is that she's going through a lot behind that. So I think maybe the youth should at least, I don't know whether you'll say to stop, because again, it's encouraging us again to at least live another day, but at least speak out. Okay. We should stop keeping quiet with our problems. Rather, we speak them out with somebody that you can maybe trust or believe that they can help, or at least give you something with it.
But how do you speak out when a lot of young people have, you know, found themselves in environments where they've experienced some kind of abuse or some kind of uncomfortable, you know, situation? How do we encourage them to speak out?
One thing I know is that especially women do speak. Women, we can breathe in and breathe out and be okay. But again, deep inside, we find that we're going through deep things that we cannot even, if like you were able to open it, an open jar, you'd be like, what? Is this what you're going through? And you've just been like normal, acting normal. Because you end up being depressed, and you find guys committing suicide. You wonder like, I was with this guy the other day. He was bubbly. He was just lovely. Like he didn't show any sign of distress or depression. But deep within us, there are a lot of things that we do go through.
Okay. Wow, that's quite powerful. There is a question here from Fadzai to Mmahlapa and Trish. The question is, what practical advice would you give to other aspiring young leaders out there?
Well, I hope you don't mind me going first, Trish.
Go ahead.
Well, I think, you know, I thought about this question, what makes me a leader? And today I had a memory that came back to me about when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And when in South Africa, we started going to multiracial schools, right? Black children were starting to enter white schools, predominantly white schools. And, you know, in these schools, my mom decided to sign us up for a ballet class. And so the first day, I have a twin sister. I don't know if many of you guys know, but I have a twin sister. And so my twin sister and I went to this ballet class for the first time, so excited, wearing our ballet gear. And we got into the classroom and, you know, there were all these poised, pretty, elegant, you know, and classical music going. So my sister was really excited because she's more elegant and poised and, you know, and I arrived there and, you know, I just felt like, I don't know what on earth I'm doing here, because, you know, since I was a young girl, nothing about me was quiet and muted and, you know, as you can probably tell. And so after a few classes, I decided that I have to make this thing work for me, especially because the concert was coming up. And I asked my brother to get me the tape with Janet Jackson's It's All For You. And I took it to my, you know, to my ballet teacher, and I was like 8 or 9 that time, and I told her, listen, this is the song I'm gonna dance to, you know. And I remember I remember that they had to create a special segment in the ballet recital where I came out with my Janet Jackson ballet-esque, you know, interpretation. But what that reminded me was that that's truly at the heart of who I am as a leader. And that's that I make my own spaces, and I have, you know, where I can't conform to what is natural, I create my own box or my own stage, you know. And I also encourage other people to do that. That's at the heart of who I am and what I do on my platform. It's my business, is encouraging people to say, hey, you know, get your own song. People might be playing the other one. You find your own song. You create your own routine to this life thing. So I think that's what makes me a leader, and that's what I encourage other people to do.
You're called. Wow, that's just amazing. And I think in terms of us as adults, I see Thekla has joined us. So I want to give her an opportunity just now for her to speak. I think one of the things I learned when I was still in the corporate world is that we are also having to change, because we're having to learn to deal with a lot of Mmahlapas out there who are coming into the work environment and they're saying, yeah, I see all your rules and regulations, but there's other rules and regulations that we can have and still be able to achieve the outcome. So you know, I'm glad that you were able to share that and they were able to incorporate. I can imagine the ballet class teacher thinking Janet Jackson. I can just see it. Anyway, I've seen somebody wanted to ask a question, but let me give the opportunity to Thekla to just come in and quickly say hi to us and quickly just tell us about who she is and where she's from. Thekla, over to you. You can unmute yourself. She did say that she was having a bit of a challenge with technology where she is. There you are, Thekla. Right, over to you, my dear. Welcome. We can't see you. Thekla, can you just check your audio? There seems to be a bit of a network challenge that she's having. You know, it's amazing. Technology is amazing, because on Friday, when we did a test with her, it was perfect. It was just perfect. And today, you know, there's a bit of a challenge that we're having. Whilst Thekla is sorting, you know, herself out, let's just see another video, and then I'll quickly just check how Thekla is doing.
Hello, I'm Mkhandawire, an Afropreneur, social entrepreneur, commercial lawyer, and philanthropist with an undeniable obsession to inspire and empower African entrepreneurs. And that's why I'm making your business my business. She's on fire.
So you've seen that she is definitely on fire. And that's the work that she does. So please go on to her YouTube channel to be able to see a lot of episodes that she does. Maybe, Mmahlapa, you could just type in the chat box the name of your, your YouTube channel, so that people can be able to ask that. We are going to move forward. There was somebody who wanted to ask a question on audio, and I want to give you the opportunity to do that. Whoever you were, I can't see that message now, but whoever it was that said they wanted to ask on audio, please do so.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Hetty. I'm an avid follower of Mmahlapa, and It's Your Business.
Hetty, we have to
yes.
see you. You can't speak in darkness. We have to see you.
Oh my goodness, I'm.
It's fine. Even in that condition, we need to see you, Hetty.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good grief. Okay. Okay, give me a second. Guys, I'm wearing my doek. Please excuse me. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
And we love it.
Okay. All right. So I am an entrepreneur, much like some of the other people that have spoken. And when the COVID pandemic basically hit us in terms of it really affecting us here in South Africa, and we went into lockdown, I think I went through what one can only describe as the various stages of grief. So going through the denial process and going through the panic process, and then even going through the process of saying, no, it can't possibly affect me. Maybe I can continue to operate other aspects of my business before finally reaching that point of acceptance. And I found that my business only began to continue operating when I moved from that mind shift of kind of desperation, really, if I'm truly honest, into an abundance mind shift. So my question for Mmahlapa and for the rest of the esteemed panel is to ask, what are some of the mind shift changes that we as African entrepreneurs need to go through in order to manifest and seek abundance within our businesses and within our lives? Because sometimes I think that is a bit of a stumbling block for us. And I'm interested to hear your views on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hetty.
Thank you.
Trish, are you still around? Mmahlapa can
Yes,
respond, and then Trish can, I'd like to hear from Tish as well.
Thank you, Hetty. I've seen you online as well on my posts as well. So thank you so much for the support. With regards to, I think, what we can do as entrepreneurs now in Africa, especially with everything that's been going on with COVID, is I think we need to really understand that business is founded in finding solutions for problems, you know, and a lot of the time we think that business is just, an activity we do where we just happen to find opportunities that make money. But really the core of it is that we are trying to find these solutions that are able to be of value to other people that they would then take their hard-earned money to be able to pay for, you know? And so as entrepreneurs, when we are experiencing situations like this, like limited resources and environments where we're restricted to work in the restrictions that we're facing currently, I think one of the fundamental things we have to really dig deep and look at is to say, really, what problem does my current business solve? And does it solve that problem effectively? You know, and another factor that we have to look at as well is that how do we then become an essential part of our current economies? You know, I think that's a big challenge that we've had to all look at, because once they're saying that only essential priority goods or essential services, you know, how do we then find ourselves in a way that we're able to operate beyond what our general comfort zone is when we make our businesses, you know, fall into categories that are fundamental for people in society and whatever their needs are. So I think that's the main thing, is starting to look at it differently and saying that we're actually innovators, we're actually problem solvers as business people, and profits come as a result of solving those problems. So yeah.
Okay, Trish, your comment, and then I'd really like to bring in Thekla into the conversations.
In terms of the mindset that an entrepreneur has to have, I would like to take a different angle from what Mmahlapa just said. You know, at times when you are running your business, what you project to your customers or to everyone else is what they give you back. Sometimes you launch your product or you have your project that you're not as confident in, and people can pick up those certain things. So I feel it has to start with you as a person before you even try to change your mindset as an entrepreneur. You need to change your mindset as healthy as a person first, and start to believe in the abundance that is around you first before it starts to surround your business. Because you find that when you are in the business world, you have people who don't believe in your product, people who tell you it will not work or it's impossible. But because you have created that mindset for yourself as a person, it will be easier for you when you are faced with situations like a pandemic or a crisis that you know will pass, but will also allow you to come up with very innovative ideas that surround your business. So it all starts with you as a person. And I always say that even before you start working on a project, start working on project self, because that's where everything else emanates from.
I like the concept of working on project self. Wow. And I think for a lot of us as we grow, and especially for young women, right? Because we've spent so much time being told we have to look this way, we have to behave this way, we have to do things this way. And then now you're realizing that, hold on, some of those messages that you may have even received growing up, they don't work anymore. You know, COVID has really showed us that it is so different. The world is so different. The world is so connected. And what people are starting to love, which is what we're doing here today, is to hear from your soul, from your spirit, from who you are, because we want to know that, we want to hear from that different person. Thekla, are you still here? Because I really want to give you an opportunity to say something. I'm not seeing her on the list. Oh, there she's trying to come back. Okay. Patrick, is there anything that you wanted to add? Because whilst we're waiting for Thekla, remember we also had the issue of a poll that we wanted to take on Slido, which I wanted to hand over to you for you to be able to lead that process. So I don't know, in terms of the question that was asked, if there's anything, especially for you as somebody who is in customer service, but also who is very much in community development. What advice do you give to young people to still be able to bring themselves out and make an impact in the world?
All right, thank you, Chips. First, it's true that I do take customer service as a passion as well, because for the two entrepreneurs, Trish and Mmahlapa, is that the customer is always right. Whether you like it or not, if the customer decides not to take your product, you can't do anything. It's you to convince them with the right mindset, with love, and also caring to be, you know, most of the companies or any product that is sold to customers, they only focus on getting the product to the customer and not after sale. So it's good for young people to grab that opportunity, and also to be able to mind about the customer using their product more than getting it to the customer. They should be able to follow up and also get to at least see how the customer is doing with it, and get to at least be able to see how best they can solve maybe some small issues here and there. Yeah.
Guys, it looks like Thekla's network is really giving her a problem. So anyway, let's continue with the session. So there was something you wanted us to do, Patrick. So as we were preparing for this session, you know, me, I'm like, we'll continue, we'll have conversation. And Patrick's like, Tips, that's going to be boring. We need to get people to be doing something. So let me hand over to you, and you guide us in terms of what we need to be doing.
Okay. So it was just something.
You are, by the way, you are a co-host as well. So you will be able to share your screen with us.
Sure. So what I'd like to share maybe is get something, just something to, we are talking about COVID, and some small things that we might be assuming, maybe like symptoms, such small things. probably you could take and see who gets it right or wrong. So grab your phones or your laptop, and then let me share this. You'll be able to get to Slido, where you'll be able to see. Just a moment. And there it is. Go to slido.com, then search on the space bar, on the space, the FWoC. Then we'll take a moment, about a minute, to answer just a simple question.
Oh, so can I also use my camera? Oh, I'm going to be fancy now. So, okay.
You can use your phone.
Oh,
you just go to slido.com, then search FWoC.
Okay.
Hashtag FWoC. That's the username.
What is Slido? What does Slido mean, Patrick?
It's like a meeting.
Okay.
Like
cool.
when you get to a meeting, right. Let's say, for example, if we were a large group of people, we'd probably maybe get questions as they come by.
Okay.
Like anonymous, or maybe if someone wishes to give their name, they can do so.
Okay, so I'm in there, and I'm hoping everybody else is in, and I see there's a question. All right, so let's
there's a question there.
And then
so there's that question there.
Ah.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. We have 18 people here. Let's get on. Let's answer which of these is not a symptom or complication that COVID-19 can cause? We have 6 answers already.
Was it only 3 questions?
It's just 1 question.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Cool. Some more?
Fazai is asking if we can post the link again. Would that be possible?
Slido.com.
Okay. Oh, Fazai, just look here under the, yeah, there you are.
It's there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yet to?
So I'm assuming you are seeing the answers and seeing how many people. Okay, okay.
Yes. Almost. We have 8 votes. We have 9 more people to do though.
Okay. Let's give them a moment. It might be that they still need to get in.
8 more. You still have 8 more people? Seven more.
So for those of you who are managers or leaders in your environments, this is a great tool. You know, if you're wanting, especially now that you're not able to meet your people on a regular basis, but you want to find out how are they doing, what's happening, business issues. This is a nice tool because you're also able to see the responses as people are responding. And, you know, they can also then out of that be able to help guide, your conversation going forward in terms of what are the key issues, you know, that are coming through.
All right, so we have 11 out of 19 participants.
Okay, let's work with those 11.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we'll get the answer there.
Mm-hmm.
And a majority of us have the answers lips and fingernails turning blue. And 9% has the answer shortness of breath or difficulty breathing. So probably you can have anyone who chose shortness of breath to maybe speak, because a majority are at lips and fingernails turning blue. Anyone willing to? Or you can as well anonymously give your reason from the Q&A. There's you search at Q&A. You'll find the Q&A where you can anonymously give your reason. That is another way, but you can bravely say that it's this because I think it's this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyone? You can type a question and just send. We'll be able to see it. Nobody? All right.
I think you've surprised them so much, Patrick. They're still dealing with the shock of this.
So that's the correct answer. Lips and fingernails turning blue. That's a symptom of pneumonia, but not COVID-19. I expected shortness of. I expected new loss of taste or kumbe we had some members with new loss of taste or smell. It's also a COVID-19 symptom and complication. Yes.
Wow.
That's from Africa CDC and WHO. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Any other inquiry?
I think now we're going to be monitoring our taste buds a little bit
Yes,
closer.
like it's Mlafa. You can actually use this for your customers. They can you can hold a meeting with them, probably those meetings that you have with your customers. They can give you feedback using Slido anonymously without fearing to be known or so, but you get really candid opinions from them. Yes.
Even my employees as well.
Yes, sure.
Anonymous feedback.
Yeah, you get feedback from them.
Is there anyone on the call who's used the Slido before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Okay, somebody has used a similar tool, but not Slido.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's great.
Great. Is there any other question that you have for us on this platform, Patrick?
Probably the breakout session, if time allows.
Let's see if we can get Thekla, because I see she's coming on and off. I really would like for her to say something before we finish the session. So if we could stop the share and then
Sure.
I ask Thekla to speak. Thekla, are you on? I don't see her. Anybody who, oh, okay. I think it's not gonna really work that well today. So, because her network seems to be going up and down. Anybody else that's got a question or a comment, you know, on the session? This is really now an open platform, you know, for any comments or questions that you have for the speakers or anybody else that's online.
I want to say something, then I don't know.
Okay, we're listening. Tuli's phone, we're listening.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Where do I participate? What do I press here?
No, just talk. Just talk.
Oh, okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How profound to have a male commanding us and teasing us on the new technology. It's been so beautiful. Yeah, I just wanted to compliment the young entrepreneurs in this new, I call it new moments, because we are adjusting in the new normal, which is actually not normal. But I feel I had to participate. Pardon me hiding my pretty face today. Yeah, I find it so profound that you coordinated such a beautiful session prior to June 16, which is the youth month, and let them lead. And I'm saying kudos to the panel, and it went very, very well. It is beautiful. Let's be safe. And I don't want to even create any somber mood. I will be writing about the situation that happened. And when I tuned in today around lunchtime on the Mirele show, what was profound for me, I found an inspiration to take the pen and continue the story of God is in the salvage business. I'm asking every mom, every grandmom, every young child and old, let's pray for our girl children. Because when you look at the statistics today in our country, it is just not good. Women are still violated. It's sitting on number 1 and with the highest statistics of rape. So I don't want to share much, but all I'm saying, let's pray. Let's pray. Yeah.
Thank
Good
you so
evening,
much.
everybody. Yeah.
So Tuli is one of our wave makers for Female Wave of Change here in South Africa. And thank you so much for that, because young people, as you say, and women are the ones that are really, being impacted by gender-based violence, but also young boys. We know that the statistics of young boys that are being molested are also on an increase, across the world. We also have, so to help us towards the conclusion of the session. So one last question I will have for all of our speakers is, what is your wish for the future? But before we get to that, we have our Circle of Wise Women member here, Mom Yvonne, who's been sitting quietly and listening to these young people sharing their knowledge, sharing, the energy and whatever it is that has been able to share here. And I wanted to give Mom Yvonne maybe just a couple of minutes. Mom Yvonne, if there are any words of encouragement that you'd like to give, to these young leaders, powerful leaders that we've had today, and even those of us who are continuing to lead, what is it that we need to be doing to ensure that we help and support these young ones? Ma, are you still there?
Yes. Yes, I am quiet because I'm so excited and overwhelmed. Wow, Patrick. The last exercise was an aha moment for Mom Yvonne. Sitting in stillness and watching what's happening. I just want to say to Tebello, thank you for the foresight and the vision. This is a moment of grace. We really needed this young energy, this power and this boldness, this courage, this confidence that we're feeling today. I am sitting here and saying that, wow, the future is in safe hands and in great hands. So what I'd really like her to say to our young ones is that you've made us proud and you've awakened our consciousness as maybe the elderly leaders, their mothers and fathers. As I'm sitting here quietly, I'm saying, I know that there's a Swami who once said, young people are not useless. they are just used less. Neither are they careless, they are just not cared for. So I think today, this is a call for all of us to listen deeply, to listen to young voices with integrity, because sitting here, I'm taking away so much creativity, so much innovation, and to hear young people saying, I'm firm on my purpose. I know there are so many things that need to be done, and I know I've studied this and that, but I know who I am, which helps that therefore our young people do know where they are going. So we just need to trust them, support them, and lead. But in an interesting way, I've listened to all of you, Thekla, Trish, Mmahlapa, Patrick. There's a spirit of calmness in you and balance, and I'd like to know what grounds you as young people. Maybe there's a lot that we can learn there, but also, what would you like to hear from us? Is there anything that you'd like to share with the elderly or to ask? But other than that, all I can say is that bravo, continue in your journey. You're on the right steps, and you have so much to share. You will be surprised of the things that I was just taking for my own growth and development, learning from the young ones. It's fresh. I'm going to try your assignment 2 weeks later, Patrick. Yeah, so you can then ask Mkhandawire something, and then I guess if you do so, you're also asking all your leaders, those who have come before you, but maybe there's something you want to tell us. If you're not of anyone, yeah.
Patrick, Mmahlapa, Trish, anything you want to ask, anything you want to say in response to Mom Yvonne's question? Yes, Mmahlapa.
I was actually keeping quiet to give them a turn because I interact a lot with my people. I don't have any questions that I haven't asked her yet, but she asked a question, what grounds me? And I think what grounds me is my faith particularly in Christ. I am someone who really takes my faith as something very central to who I am. And I think that has helped me to steep myself more into my authenticity and, just understanding that it's bigger than me, that my calling and my purpose is about serving other people. And so it's actually made, I guess, my work or what it is I do something that's fulfilling and that's got an ease to it, because I'm not feeling like I'm willing it myself. I'm just feeling like I'm just stepping into it and doing my best with what I have every day.
Great. Thank you. Trish?
Wonderful.
I'll also answer the question. For me, it's because I've come from a point where I have felt like I was not worth much, which was different from the way I was raised, because growing up, my family always reiterated that I was the best I could be, whatever I wanted to be. But then I got into a world where people thought I was too much, like I was too much of everything. And there was a huge contrast with what I'd been told when I was growing up. So that convergence of two different mindsets really got me into a place where I started doubting myself. So about bulk of my adult life, I was doubting myself. And I got to a point where I realized that there was something in me. And in terms of how then I start to relate to other people who I see are in my position, it then humbles me to a point where I feel like, if I could walk out of this, if I could still rediscover my strength, I need to also be able to ensure that no one gets left behind, especially other women who feel like the world isn't appreciating them more or isn't seeing their worth. So for me, just being able to inspire other women, just being able to just share my story and to work with the few that I can to ensure that they thrive in their areas of space, that's what gives me pleasure. And I guess that's what grounds me as well. And also, like Mmahlapa said, my faith, because I started to realize that there was a point that I stopped seeing myself through the eyes of the creator. I was seeing myself through the eyes of everybody else. So with my faith and also working on me and believing in myself and trying to portray this to others and also allow them to do the same, I think that's what has kept me going. And each and every day I feel like I keep on improving and I keep on learning and I keep on growing.
Wow.
Fantastic.
That's
Very inspiring. That is so inspiring. I think from my side, if nothing else, I would say I love the fact that you believe in yourselves. A few things that I can share so that you can even grow and develop greater and greater every day is that try to keep harmony in your life as well, prioritize properly and balance things. Because on another day, Mami Yvonne will share a very big story of what happens when you don't take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. Ground yourself and live a harmonious and balanced life so you can be able to do other things. But also in your endeavor to achieve, to make a difference, to lift others. Don't forget that, our lives begin at home, and home is that place that will always be there for you. So prioritize your life, your family, and then you can go out there. So I'm sure you've heard of the saying that charity begins at home. But sometimes most of us, we go all out of there to touch lives, to make a difference, and we forget where we come from. Maybe even today, you might even go give a call to those family members that are not so privileged, that unless you call them, they won't be able to do so. Unless you visit them, they won't be able to do so. But I love your vision, your commitment in life, because it's exactly that you are there not only to do things for yourself, you have to serve others as well. You have to live fully. But as we have said, that it starts with loving yourself, taking care of yourself, the people around you, and then you go out there. I have a lot to learn from you young people. You seem to be zhuzhed up and upbeat about entrepreneurship and so on. And I think those are the good things. That think of your days of retirement start now.
Yeah.
Plan retirement. So you manage your finances effectively and invest in right places. But also, as I've said, that life is about balance. Our lives is not only material, it's otherwise as well, because at the end of the day, the things you've accumulated, you will leave behind.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
what is it that you're taking with you? The things that you're taking with you, it is so touching to hear young people speaking to faith, to inspiration. And what Mkhama would add is that your values as well, because what you value in life is always aligned with what you'd like to achieve and with what you'd like to pursue. So trust yourself, be bold, own your journey, lead it. And I guess you've said it yourself that nothing happens until you take action. So do something about what you really. And all the best Yes, the next time I will be engaging you in, you will be ministers or presidents or
Exactly.
professors.
Wow,
Amen.
Mom Yvonne, thank you so much for that. And that's why Mom Yvonne, in our organization, she's a member of the Circle of Wise Women, because it is through the advice and those, you know, words of wisdom that they're able to provide that we're able to keep this organization authentic to its mission and vision of ensuring that we create a change in the world for ourselves, for our children, and for the future generations. We have a minute to conclude the session. Before we conclude the session, I just want to share one last issue with you. So as you go out there and you talk to young people in your countries, please make them aware, especially here in East and Southern Africa, that there is a course. And Thekla, had she had the opportunity, she would have spoken about her attending of this course. But young people have an opportunity to participate and learn, you know, from De Beers about the, you know, in the Diamond Foundation course. So please have a look at this. We will post it, or when you look at the video of this session, you'll be able to see this. But for young people that are keen to get involved in mining, there is an opportunity out there. Please take it. Please share, you know, with others out there. Last words from our speakers. What is your wish for the future? Trish, what's your wish for the future?
Well, my wish for the future really is that everybody gets to thrive in their areas of strength. And for us, I feel like I'm privileged. And for a lot of people who are privileged enough to be on this call, I implore you that we need to ensure that we don't leave anyone behind. Because there are a lot of women who are not in the positions that we are, but who have so much to offer. And we need to lend a hand and reach back and ensure that we walk forward together.
Great, thank you very much for that. Pet, what's your wish for the future?
Thank you, Tibbs. My wish for the future is to see a united youth that is involved in decision-making by our governments as actors and not subjects of discussion. The future generations depend on us to act right. And I believe in the youth mantra of nothing about us without us is for us.
Wow.
Yes.
Please type that in the chat. I like that. I really like that mantra.
Yeah.
We're going to take it and we're going to challenge each other. Mmahlapa, your wish for the future?
My wish for the future, I think, is really to see the youth, the narrative of the African youth to be redefined. I would love to see that when we are Googling Africa and we're Googling African youth, that what we're seeing are powerful leaders and influencers of the world. We're seeing pictures of people who have created incredible solutions and are phenomenal entrepreneurs in the world, that we start to redefine how we think about ourselves as young Africans as well, beyond our limitations and, you know, our history, but for us to redefine and to build, to realize that we have the capacity to build the type of future that is really a reflection of our true potential. So yeah, that's my heart really as a young African.
Thank you so much. Last message I want to share with you. It's from Fazai, and I think this is so powerful. She says, I'm so grateful for stumbling upon this session in my personal quest to seek wisdom and develop myself as a young leader. We need to reach more young people to attend such enriching platforms, as this is a worthwhile investment. When we tell close to home success stories, which our peers can relate with, we are able to help break the limitations that still exist in our communities. Well done to all of you. Thank you so much for this session. I am humbled. I am pleased to know that our future is in powerful hands. For the three of you as young participants here, I'd like to encourage you continue to get involved in your local female wave of change initiatives, but also engage with Renee and Odi, in fact, through Odi, as a member of the board of Female Wave of Change, because from what you have shared with us today, I believe you can help the Youth Council of Female Wave of Change to be able to make this kind of difference that you have spoken about. Thekla, I am so sorry that we were not able to give you an opportunity to speak today, but we were able to share your video about Namibia. We were able to share your story about, your diamond program. We'll be able to find another opportunity in the future to be able to engage with you, because I know you are such a powerful young lady and you're doing such great work in terms of where you are. Everybody, thank you. Thank you so much for spending the time with us and for being inspired by these young people. For those of you that are recognizing the South Africa Youth Day tomorrow, let's celebrate and let's remember what Patrick was saying. Nothing about us, nothing about the youth. Without the youth is for the youth. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a good evening wherever you are. And stay blessed. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Tebs. Well done.
Thanks to you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Well done.
Thank you.
Blessed remembrance tomorrow.
Mama Yvonne, thank you always for the support. We appreciate.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thanks to you too.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, our organizers and our speakers. Ma'am Yvonne, we love you.
I love you too. Blessed to have such gifted young people.
Absolutely.
How do I leave?
Thank you, Ingun. Bye, Hetty. Thank you. Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
bye, bye. Thanks to Ingun as well.
Oh, I'm a host. Bye. I'm ending the session.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.